Hello and welcome to the garden. This is Jody from the David Connection, and I am coming through today with a message from the light about protection. This is a really hard message. For some reason, I am getting a whole bunch of interference, and I don't think it's for some reason. It's for an obvious reason because this message is so important, and because we all do need to be hyper aware of our protection, of where it is, how we do it, when we do it, the fact that we do it at all, and that we need to be aware that there is a reality that requires that protection. So I have a very noisy bird in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but I actually am in my physical garden, and I'll tell you a little bit about that because it feels important to be out here today. And I've really been struggling with this recording. I was 8 minutes in on a previous attempt, but my resistance was so strong. I have been sitting here resisting for at least an hour bringing this message through, and it's not giving up how important it is. But I was also facing quite a bit of technical resistance, and a little lady cardinal just landed on the fence here right across from me and is telling me to keep going, keep going, keep going. It's really important that we open ourselves up to these messages that we're receiving because as I sat here in the garden, there were all sorts of moments where I was getting encouragement from nature beings, from our friends in the Davic realm. I had breezes picking up at times when I was really feeling low and needed a little lift. I had this moment where I looked over into our bed of lilies, and there was a drop of dew on one of the lilies, and it started shining with prismatic light from across the yard. And I wear glasses in 3D, and when I often take them off to just sort of let my eyes relax and let myself see a little bit beyond what the sharp lines of 3D, let everything blur a little bit. I always feel like it looks a little bit more like a Monet painting, and I always loved Monet paintings. But this drop of dew started shining and flickering across the yard and was telling me that this is important. And so I've been getting lots of messages this morning from my friends in the Davic realm about how you all need to hear about protection. And for some reason, I am resisting this message because I'm afraid to share it. I'm afraid that people don't want to hear it. I'm afraid that I'll seem, out there, I suppose. But hey, we're talking about stuff that's already pretty out there. So when we expand our awareness, we have to expand it in all ways, not just in the ways that we're comfortable with. So it's important as we expand in love and light to recognize also that there are entities and energies that are expanding in the opposite of love and light, in, hatred and darkness, and that those entities and those energies are working just as hard as we are to bring through their message. And you need look only to the world around you to see that message playing out. So it's real. It's real, and it is something we have to be aware of. In the work that my friends and colleagues and I are doing, we had some pretty serious interference from entities that are not very nice this week. And so we're learning, too, a lot about protection. And the light is saying that as you go forward, as you learn more, as you develop your own skills and attunements more, as you channel more and more light, as you help more and more people in their healing journeys, that you will be open to attack. And that it's not for you to be afraid of that. It's for you to be aware of it and do the necessary work to prevent against it. So that work is to understand your own energy field in a way that is ever expanding and ever deepening. So you need to study your own energy field and pay very close attention to what's happening in it. And this will be a different process for everyone. With people who are more clairvoyant, it might actually be a visual image of your field. For me, it's more about feelings. I feel differences. I get tingles up my back when I know that I'm being either attacked or someone's sending me energy that's not 100% of light, or even if someone's sending me energy that is not mine, because you don't need to take in anyone else's energy that's not yours. It might be coming from places of love, but when someone sends their energy to you, not through the light, not through beings of light who carry these energies out in a purer and less complicated form, you're not only taking in their love and light, you're taking in all their other bullshit too. And you don't have to do that. So you have to be aware that, that even in circles where people are trying really hard to expand in love and light, that everyone still has their junk that they're carrying along from their past lives, from this life. We all have our filters that we're filtering our entire lives through. And so this is a good lesson also in being aware of what you're sending out. So when you send out prayers, when you send out energy to people, be sure that you're calling on beings of light, like whoever you work with. For me, it's always Christ and Archangel Michael, the army of light, Archangels Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael. And when I want the highest frequencies of white light to be sent to people, I call on Divine Light Source Creator God to please provide the highest frequencies of white light possible in this place at this time to this person. And that way, they're getting the light in its purest form. They're not getting it through my field and all of the junk that I have caught up in my field on any given day. They're getting it from the beings of light who have a much greater capacity to carry that light, to purify it, to clarify it, and to provide it in the most harmonious frequencies for that person at that time. So that is a lesson also in not inflicting upon others our learning process. Because as we go through our lives, we pick up this stuff and we pick it up because we need to learn from it, right? So I have had all sorts of interference this week with energies that are not 100% of light, and they are all, each and every circumstance in this realm is an opportunity to learn, to expand my knowledge base, to really gain wisdom and really gain understanding of how energies work and how we can work with energies for the expansion and continuation of light to come through in ever increasing frequencies in this place. So bear with me, because I'm just kind of tuning in to see what the light wants to say next. Okay, the light wants me to share my what I've learned about protection. So every day I ground and protect, and I call on Christ and the Army of Light to please provide a protective force field of white light. And I do it in front, in back, to the left, to the right, above and below. And I tune in and see what distance I need in terms of my protective force field of white light. And I ask that it be impenetrable from the outside, and I ask that it have transmutative properties from the inside, so that any and all energies that are not of light can leave my field and be transformed to light as they do. Because that's the other thing, that as we clarify our own fields, as we purify our own energies, as we clear out the energies that are not of light from our fields, we need to be transmuting those energies too, or we need to be calling on beings of light to transmute these energies for us, because, we don't want to be sending those energies out to, wreak havoc somewhere else. So we call on these beings of light, Christ, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Raphael, the Army of Light, Mother Mary, whoever it is that you resonate with, whatever beings of light that you resonate with, that you call on, ask them to help you transmute these energies that are not of light and clear them from your field. So do that in whatever space feels right for your field, however many feet in front, behind, to the left, to the right, above, and below you. And then ground yourself. And grounding, basically, you visualize a ball of light above your head. Bring light down and through the top of your head, through your head, neck, spine, down through your legs, down and out the bottoms of your feet, into the earth, and to a ball of light below you. A lot of people visualize the center of the earth, a ball of light at the center of the earth. This is really nice. And then you bring light up from below and up and through the earth and up and surround your body in a ball of light, and then go up from there and meet back up with the ball of light above you. Now, I recommend that you get your own sense of what your own grounding means. There are there's lots of information on how to ground out there, but that was the basic formula I hear is what I just said. And so, but your own personal grounding is actually, the light is saying that it is actually a very unique attunement between you, the light, and the planet Earth. So it's calling for you to really develop your own grounding, that use the exercises that are out there that other people have developed for general grounding, but to really start to, this is a nice energy, because it's saying that you have the capability and I'm trying to get the right words. The energy is there. And what I hear is the resonance to be able to tune in and connect with the earth and connect with the light, the earth from below and the light from above, in a way that allows you to develop your own very, very unique and highly attuned grounding process. So that's an exciting thing. And I'd love to hear back from any of you, on how that works out. So protection, grounding, and here's the other thing that I'm going to put out there too, is that every time we get in the car, we protect the car. I call on Archangel Michael, and I'll give you the words. My mentor told me about this, and since she told me, my mom and I drive together a lot, and we do this every time. And we have had some really miraculous results with this. Once our brakes went out in our driveway after a 4-hour drive. So it was like they were, the car was not quite off. My mom was driving, and she felt that there was something, just really not quite right happening. And we got into our driveway after this 4-hour drive, and the brakes went out. So we were protected. We got home. And there have been so many other experiences we've had since we've been doing this that have been really, really lovely reminders that when we call on the beings of light for help, we get that help. And before I give you the words for the car protection, I'm being called to remind you all that we have to call on the beings of light to help us. We have to ground their energy in 3D, because that's what we're here in form to do. Their help is out there. Their help is available. but they need us. They need our connection through physical form to be able to come through and help us in the ways that they can. So keep that in mind, because you can have a great deal of help from the higher realms, from beings who are in the higher realms, who are light, beings of light, but they need to be called on. And so you need to do that work so that they can do their work as well, and so that their work can have a greater impact, and so can yours, on the 3D world. So the car exercise is, you just, every time you get in the car and you're getting ready to go, we do this. If it's a really crazy day, we'll do it at every stop. We definitely do it if we get out for any length of time and get back in the car. But, you'll see what you need, because sometimes you need to just reactivate the protection. So we say these words. I call on Archangel Michael to please protect this vehicle 50 feet in front, 50 feet behind, 50 feet to the left, 50 feet to the right, 50 feet above, and 50 feet below in white light. I ask that it be an impenetrable force field of white light, that no objects, animate or inanimate, be allowed to make contact with the vehicle while it is stationary or in motion, and that each and every passenger within be kept completely safe from harm. So that will help a lot, because one of the things that that we're noticing is that people are turning away from their awareness, and they're doing that in every manner that they possibly can. And this is really dangerous then, when people are strapping themselves into these vehicles and, hurtling themselves down highways going 70 or 80 miles an hour, and are totally checked out and totally not paying attention and totally absorbed in their own life, with no recognition of the fact that there are living beings all around them whose lives they're putting at risk also by failing to be hyper aware. So in doing this, you're protecting yourself and others as well. So it's good to be aware. It's always good to be aware. So the last thing I'm going to say before I sign off for today is that I have been getting so many devas coming to me and telling people to call on them, for help. A lot of water devas of bodies of water that are around people, have been calling out and saying that they can help clarify, protect, clear, purify any and all energies that are not of light. So you can call on, if you live near a river, or you live near the ocean, or you live near a lake, or you just live near any kind of body of water, you can call on the deva of that body of water and ask for their help. You can call on the planet herself. There is a beautiful and basically, for our human experience, unlimited amount of unconditional love that this planet can provide, and can provide to your work, to help fortify your work, and to infuse it with the unconditional love of planet Earth. My mentor and I were talking about this unconditional love that the planet provides this past week, and she said that she used the example of the way that a forest will regrow after a fire. This planet has such a capacity to heal and to keep moving forward, and to provide this just unconditional love of creation, and this massive creation force, and that energy is available to each and every one of us. And the more that we tune into that energy, and that we call on the planet to help infuse our work with the grounding, with the unconditional love, with that creation force, the more that energy will spread out from us, from our work, and will help the planet heal, and will help the people who are so checked out about the needs of this planet and the very real existential crisis happening on this planet right now with global climate change and with just the the desire for people to just keep going in the status quo instead of recognizing what's happening around them. The energy of the planet flowing through our work will help people become more aware. It will become less comfortable for them to ignore the very real situation that's happening. So that's what the light is saying about calling on planet Earth to, work with us, to co-create this work, to be in our work in all things. And if you're here, it's likely you have this connection to the Davic realm and to these beings of light who are working with us, our friends in nature, the tree devas. If you have a tree nearby that you feel especially connected to, you can sit with that tree and you can really share that space and listen for messages, listen for what wisdom you can gain, because the trees have a lot of wisdom to share. They have an interconnected knowledge base that is similar to the Akashic records. They have just an endless history of this planet and what we can learn and to move forward. So that's a really lovely energy that I would love to hear if anyone is working with that energy. What you're learning and what you're gaining from it. This bird is chirping at me, and I'm being reminded by this bird to tell you to pay attention to bird song, pay attention to the movement of the wind, pay attention to the flow of nature all around you, because there is light in all of it, and that you can gain so much from the synchronicities around you. So, yeah, that's it for today, is what I just heard. So, be mindful of all of this, and when you go and you work on your protection, it must be done from a place of, well, belief in its power. First of all, you have to just really allow yourself to believe that you are protected when you call on the help to protect you, and that when you encounter opportunities to learn about protection, when you have instances of psychic attack, of energies that are not of yours kind of creeping in and wreaking havoc, when you have other beings coming into your space and creating, any means of drama to pull you off base, you're getting opportunities to learn. So don't get upset or angry about them. Just go to the light and go to, how can I use this opportunity to expand my understanding of light, my understanding of growth, my understanding of what work I'm doing in the world, and how that energy works and moves through the world. So don't be scared, because the fear is what these opposing forces want. You have to just rise above the fear and do the work, and the work will be there. So so go forward in light and in love and in an ever-deepening understanding of the world around you and how it works and your place in it and the work that you're here to do. So I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for listening. And I want to say, too, before I sign off, that you can find more information at thedavicconnection.com. And that if any of you are out there are struggling through anything that you need a little help or clarity on, I do offer private readings. So that information is on the website. There's a schedule a reading page. You can contact me through that page. And and I look forward to hearing from you all, hearing how how these energies play out in your lives, because it's fascinating. We can learn so much from each other about how to go forward and how to do the work, so that we don't maybe have to experience all the lessons ourselves if we can learn from others. So, and if we share our own lessons, then maybe people can learn from them as well. So, thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.